over. And after that, he became one of America's champions.
As Arguello embraced celebrity in America, civil war raged in his homeland as the Sandinista rebel army attempted a takeover of the Nicaraguan government. For Arguello, returning home was no longer an option.
His habit had always been to wrap himself in the Nicaraguan flag, the blue and white. In Madison Square Garden in July of '79 with Bazooka Limon, a Sandinista guy came up and gave him the red and black Sandinista, and he wrapped himself in the Sandinista flag. He would say later that may have been the biggest mistake he ever made in his life, because then the Sandinistas wanted a piece of him.
Arguello, at the beginning of the war, he actually supported the Sandinistas.
He felt they had blackmailed him. He didn't like their tactics. He didn't like being strong-armed. He didn't like being told what to do by this revolutionary group. And as a result, they took everything he had.
Arguello became the most famous political exile of the Sandinista occupation.
The Sandinistas seized his house, seized all of his assets, evicted his mother.
In '79, the revolution had started in Nicaragua, and we picked up and left everything that we had.
By 1982, after leaving his war-torn homeland, Arguello rebuilt his financial standing and settled with his family in Miami, Florida.
A big portion of the community down here had left Cuba, basically because of similar reasons. So they embraced Arguello for taking a stand against the Sandinista government at that time, because the Sandinista government had a close link with the Castro government.
He was a prototype and a hero to the Cuban community because it was part of the Cuban cause to get rid of Castro. So in other words, he symbolized the fight against communism.
Arguello's popularity was so immense in South Florida that the Orange Bowl was selected as the site for his fight with Aaron Pryor.
You don't beat an Aaron Pryor and you don't beat an Alexis Arguello until you absolutely destroy either fighter.
Who's the hungrier fighter, you think?
I don't know that at 1.6 and 1.5 million you can say anybody's hungry. Aaron Pryor wants a recognition. Alexis Arguello is fighting for history. That gives you a heck of an incentive that money can't.
Nicaragua en tu suelo, ya no ruge la voz del cañón.
It is a madhouse here as Arguello comes into the ring with the Nicaraguan flag, and the crowd responds, and I don't think there's any question, Larry, but it is going to be a pro-Arguello crowd here.
So although he is in exile, he is still a great hero in his country.
Ray, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that Arguello is not the champion here, but the challenger.
The stadium filled in the hope of seeing Arguello claim his 4th title, while Pryor had at last earned a chance to prove himself on the world stage.
So as you look at Aaron Pryor, and he is a man intense right now, Ray.
I attempted to make Alexis believe that I was going to kill him. What I felt I was going to do to him was for real.
You got this guy standing across the ring from you, and he's got this attitude and this aura about him that he doesn't care if he dies.
I think he personified in Alexis all the things he could never be.
Most importantly, respected.
From Managua, Nicaragua, Mr. Alexis Arguello!
Pryor felt slighted. He was introduced in a distinctly different manner than the man trying to take his title.
I'm the champion, and you can't say Mr. Pryor, you said Mr. Arguello. I said, man, I'm gonna get you. You can't beat me. You're gonna wish you hadn't took this fight.
Pryor with the first punch, he scores with the right hand. Up tempo right from the opening bell.
They were throwing bombs from the get-go and never stopped.
Arguello with the right hand that scores on Pryor, whose legs buckle for a moment.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if someone gets knocked down the first round.
Pryor put the pressure on him. I mean, you thought it was a one-round bout instead of a 15-round bout.
Well, there weren't too many who expected this fight to go the distance, and at this pace, there is simply no way that it can. Arguello is letting Pryor fight his fight. And another right hand, and Arguello back to the ropes again. That hurt Arguello. forces the attack.
And there was silence. People, Arguello's fans were just totally in shock.
I couldn't even move because I was just watching my dad get his ass beat.
He just kept saying, come on, that's nothing.
Most boxing experts theorized if Pryor, a 2-to-1 underdog, had any chance to win, he'd have to knock out Arguello early.
Originally, Pryor's handlers wanted it to be a 12-round fight, and my dad wanted it to be a 15-round fight because he knew that if he got Pryor past 10, that it was in the bag for him.
After the second round, Pryor's trainer, Panama Lewis, instructed him to drink from a specific bottle.
Give me that drink, man, that I mix. One that I mix.
A move that would later raise suspicion.
Whatever it was mixing, that bottle gave Pryor more energy.
Pryor again rushing off the stool at Alexis Arguello.
Pryor, who had made short work of most of his opponents, set a frantic pace early in the fight.
I don't think I've ever seen Arguello have to fight so hard, so persistently in the first few rounds of a fight.
Arguello struggled to counter Pryor's relentless attack. As the fight progressed, Arguello began to connect.
But he did score with an uppercut and another left hand. Arguello back to the right hand of his own.
And then in the middle rounds, he started to make this comeback, and you went, okay, now this is what we're more used to seeing.
Maybe the 7th or 8th round started to come around and my dad started landing more shots.
And there's the right hand, and that might have hurt Pryor.
One time he hit me.
There's a hard right hand by Arguello.
And I thought he knocked my head off.
As Arguello closed the gap and the fight drew even, Pryor, the angry brawler, changed his approach.
He was expecting me to come in swinging. I knew I couldn't beat him that way.
It's really impressive to see Aaron Pryor as a boxer.
You can't find some of the moves in the book he was creating. He was creating in that fight.
You notice the way he bobs and weaves, throws it with the left hand, the right hand. He's capable of throwing punches from all angles.
He was like a Michelangelo.
And see, Arguello can't deal with a boxer. He has trouble with all boxers, and Pryor's doing the right thing now.
And Pryor was boxing from outside, and Alexis was hitting him, but he was hitting him on the end of the punches, you know, and so therefore you're sacrificing your power.
He never had any reaction but a smile to one of my dad's punches.
Every time he got a big punch, he laughed. I said, well, man, this is crazy.
Pryor smiles at him at the bell.
I have no idea why Aaron Pryor wanted any more of those shots.
He just wasn't strong enough to knock me out.
This fight had all the billings, of course. Brawler, boxer, good versus evil. What it all comes down to is two guys in an 18-foot square.
A close fight in the eye of any impartial viewer. If the fight had been scheduled for 12 rounds as Pryor's camp had requested, the bout would have ended in scandal.
I believe the Spanish official was judging every round for Arguello, and so we were kind of getting worried. The worst that could happen is for a fight to go the distance, and then somebody has it by 1 point one way or the other point, and then somebody has it 10 points the other way.
As you see it now, the fight's dead even.
It's just about dead even, yes.
This was for real. Aaron Pryor had to knock him out or he would have lost the fight.
This is the 13th round. It is still anybody's guess.
Having knocked out 29 of 31 opponents, Aaron Pryor had fought past 10 rounds only once in his career. Alexis Arguello had built his reputation in these final championship rounds.
That was the best punch of the fight.
My head went back and I could see the lights in the ceiling up there.
That was like target practice.
I was so concentrated on him that was nothing. I took that shot up. I ate that shot.
When Alexis hit a guy with those kind of shots, 9 times out of 10, they go down. He fought a different animal, and Aaron Pryor.
I think Aaron got to a point, his mind just went to another place. No matter what, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going to get beat tonight.
2 rounds away from the respect Aaron Pryor always thought he deserved, he sat across from a 3-time champion and a potential hometown decision.
Punch back! Win these 2 last rounds! 6 minutes! You can fight for 6 minutes!
Once again, Panama Lewis asked Pryor to drink from the mysterious black bottle.
Give me that bottle! That's the one I mix.
Pryor brought everything from the inner city and the ghetto with him.
Panama Lewis telling Aaron Pryor that he had to win these next 2 rounds.
Everybody did anything to him that night.